This article from The Independent has sparked yet another unnecessary debate around Meghan Markle, this time over appearing makeup-free on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. Writer Katie Rosinski argues that people should stop applauding Meghan for it. But let's be honest, this isn't about makeup. It's about the continued obsession with policing everything Meghan does. The article pretends to discuss beauty standards, but what it really exposes is how deeply invested some critics are in twisting even the most harmless thing Meghan does. If she wore glam makeup, she'd be labelled vain. Without makeup, she's humble bragging. There is no version of Meghan that pleases these people. Meghan is singled out because her confidence irritates those who expected her to remain silent, small and apologetic. A biracial woman taking control of her image in a space that once tried to destroy her? That, right there, is what they can't handle. The Independent claims Meghan's clear skin isn't helpful to ordinary women, as if women are too fragile to see someone looking good without foundation. But no one says this when Jennifer Lopez, Alicia Keys, Zendaya or any other celebrity goes makeup-free. The sudden concern for women's self-esteem appears only when the subject is Meghan. And the argument falls apart instantly because Meghan has always been transparent. She's talked about freckles, hydration, wellness, simplicity. She's never pretended to be perfect, yet critics insist on weaponizing her natural looks against her. What this really is? A resentment piece disguised as social commentary. Meghan isn't being celebrated too much. Some people are just angry she dares to thrive. Let's remember, magazines choose their covers, not the celebrities. Meghan didn't say, "Look at me, I'm amazing without makeup." Harper's Bazaar chose the photo because it was beautiful. But instead of criticizing the magazine, the article blames Meghan, because she is the easier target. The article then claims Meghan's face sets unrealistic standards. Funny, because these same outlets spent years editing, dissecting and nitpicking her appearance. They criticize her when she looks tired and criticize her when she doesn't. They criticize her when she's glammed up and criticize her bare-faced. None of this is about standards, it's about control. And let's address the truth. Meghan looks good because she takes care of herself. She prioritizes peace, wellness and mental health. That's not a crime. That's not an attack on other women. That's called being comfortable in your own skin. Women do not need to apologize for looking beautiful, youthful or radiant. They don't owe the world imperfections just to be relatable. Yet the article implies that being naturally pretty is somehow harmful. That logic is absurd and deeply sexist. If Meghan had uneven skin, tabloids would mock her. Because she doesn't, they complain she's too perfect. Meghan is not the issue, the double standard is. The Independent tries to place Meghan in the centre of a societal crisis she didn't create. Instead of examining the beauty industry or media pressure, it blames a single woman for existing. Meanwhile, Meghan has never pushed unrealistic beauty expectations, quite the opposite. The real discomfort comes from the fact that Meghan doesn't need validation from the British press. She doesn't need heavy makeup. She doesn't need approval. She simply shows up, looks radiant, and moves on. Confidence without their permission? That sets them on fire. The article also infantilizes women by suggesting they're too fragile to see an attractive celebrity without spiraling emotionally. Women understand the difference between a photo shoot and daily life. They don't need protection from Meghan Markle's face. What harms women is the constant tearing down of other women, exactly what this article does while pretending to be feminist analysis. let's also acknowledge something deeper. Women of colour are held to harsher beauty expectations. Their looks are scrutinised, politicised, and criticised more aggressively. Meghan stepping out barefaced challenges those stereotypes. That's why the backlash feels so personal. The irony is almost comedic. The article attacks Meghan for promoting unrealistic beauty while simultaneously demanding that she look less beautiful to make critics comfortable. That's not empowerment, that's policing someone's appearance. And here's the truth: critics won't admit. Meghan's natural confidence is a threat. All the smear campaigns, all the headlines, all the attempts to break her, and yet she still glows. She still thrives. She still represents grace and resilience. That is what irritates her critics. Every time they attack her, they expose themselves, their insecurities, their biases, their obsession. Meghan doesn't even need to respond. Her peace is the answer. And Harry? Every time Meghan is dragged for something meaningless, it reinforces his decision to take his family out of that toxic environment. He sees the pattern. He knows Meghan is targeted disproportionately. These attacks confirm everything he has said for years about the British press. This photo shoot was supposed to be simple. Instead, it became a mirror reflecting the insecurities of those who resent Meghan's strength. Her natural face is not the crisis. The crisis is the media's inability to let her live peacefully. Meghan showing her bare skin doesn't harm women. What harms women is constant criticism, double standards, and the media's obsession with policing female bodies. Meghan is simply existing and doing it beautifully. And the best part? Meghan is winning. By thriving, by living authentically, by refusing to shrink. Her glow is her revenge. Her joy is her statement. Her peace is her power. Critics can complain all they want. They can lecture. They can nitpick. They can disguise jealousy as journalism. But they cannot stop Meghan from shining. Because here's the truth. Meghan Markle doesn't need makeup to be radiant. She doesn't need to dull herself for public approval. And she certainly doesn't need permission to be confident. If her beauty bothers anyone, that's their insecurity, not her responsibility. So, to the critics clutching their pearls over a makeup-free photo, Meghan will continue to do exactly what she wants. She will continue to represent authenticity. She will continue to live freely, and nothing, not articles, not headlines, not narratives, will dim her light. That is why she continues to win. And let's be honest, Meghan winning doesn't look the way her critics expected. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's not her clapping back on social media or releasing angry statements. Her victory is quiet, graceful, and rooted in the simple act of living her life without asking anyone's permission. Every time she steps out confidently, the same people who tried for years to break her are reminded that they failed. That's why these articles keep appearing. They're not critiques, they're symptoms. Symptoms of an obsession that refuses to fade because Meghan refuses to collapse under their pressure. And here's the twist. The more they try to bring her down, the more relatable she becomes to women who understand what it's like to be judged unfairly. Meghan's strength isn't just admired, it resonates. Her critics accidentally amplify her influence every time they nitpick something harmless. Think about it. A bare-faced photo should not be front-page discourse. But the desperation to control the narrative around Meghan turns even her quiet moments into national debates. That says more about the media's fragile ego than it does about Meghan's appearance. Women know what it means to be scrutinized unfairly. Women know what it feels like to have their confidence misunderstood as arrogance. Women know the sting of being judged no matter what they do. Meghan becomes a mirror for experiences countless women face, and that's why she inspires them. When the media targets her, they think they're diminishing her. In reality, they're proving her point every single time. They highlight the very toxicity she walked away from. They justify her boundaries. They justify Harry's protection. They justify the decision to relocate their family. It all becomes one long validation of her truth. And while critics obsess over whether Meghan's skin is too perfect, she is busy focusing on things that actually matter: philanthropy, mental health, community work, motherhood, and building a life far removed from the chaos she escaped. Her priorities speak louder than their articles ever could. Here's the part that truly stings for the people invested in tearing her down. Meghan doesn't react. She doesn't stumble. She doesn't seek their approval. Her silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. When someone refuses to engage with negativity, the negativity destroys itself. Meanwhile, Harry stands by her as a partner who understands the cost of silence, the cost of headlines, the cost of lies. He knows what the smear campaigns did to his mother. He knows the psychological warfare that comes with being in the crosshairs of the British press. Watching Meghan endure the same treatment only strengthens his resolve to protect his family at all costs. And that's why every baseless article, every bizarre critique, every desperate accusation only confirms what Harry has said repeatedly. The treatment of Meghan was never about fairness. It was about power. It was about control. It was about punishing a woman who refused to play the role assigned to her. But here we are in 2025, and Meghan is still thriving, still glowing, still unbothered, still winning simply by existing with dignity. The critics shout louder, but their influence grows weaker. Their arguments have holes, their narratives collapse under scrutiny. And Meghan, she keeps rising. So when we see these think pieces disguised as concern, understand what's really happening. The world is shifting. Women, especially women of colour, are claiming their space unapologetically. Meghan represents that shift, and those who prefer the old rules can't handle it. And that is why they cling to something as trivial as a makeup-free photo. Because when they have no real scandal to weaponize, they invent one. They need anything to cling to. But attacking Meghan for looking beautiful without makeup, that only exposes how fragile their arguments have become. In the end, Meghan doesn't need to dim her light. She doesn't need to apologize for her beauty or her confidence. She doesn't need to be less radiant to protect someone else's insecurities. Her glow isn't a threat unless someone chooses to see it that way. And the truth is undeniable. Meghan Markle has already reclaimed her narrative. She doesn't need approval from newspapers that once tried to destroy her. She doesn't need validation from commentators who analyze her every breath. Her life speaks for itself. Her peace speaks for itself. Her resilience speaks loudest of all. So let them write their think pieces. Let them dissect her freckles. Let them pretend her skin is a global crisis. Because at the end of the day, Meghan will keep shining not for them, not in spite of them, but simply because it's who she is.